to thank Jupiter Academy for the opportunity to share the knowledge and experience I've gained over the years, right? Um, Moving forward, I'd like to say kudos to Jupiter Academy. I see the work they are doing, awesome stuff. Um, I guess she has introduced me already, right? But before we move ahead, I would like to give a short story about how I got into UI UX design, right? So it all began in 2020. Can you guys can you guys see me? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Oh, I guess there was a problem with my network. Can you see it now? I think it went off.
Not yet. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So a short story about how I got into design. It all started in the year 2020, right? In the midst of the pandemic, and I was heavily pregnant with my son. And I wasn't in the country then. I think I was in US and I was staying with my younger ones. And my sister asked a question. I'm the first of five, and she asked a question. She said, "Sister T, what skill do you even have? What are you doing?" Because everybody was busy working, improving. All my siblings were, pandemic, were all stuck in US, and everybody was working on something, doing something, improving themselves, taking a course. And she said, "What skill do you even have? The way do you like the way you're earning, how much you're earning?" I was earning so low that time, like below 100K. Do you like what you're earning? Do you like the fact that you always have to reach out to dad or mom or someone to ask for money? And it got me thinking. And at that point I was really angry. I'm like, why is this small girl talking to me? She's a software engineer currently. She asked, I'm like, why is this girl asking me this question? I was really angry as the firstborn. The gap is like over 10 years. So I'm like, what's wrong with this one? But I didn't know that God sent her to talk to me at that point. So for like 2 weeks, I was just thinking about my life actually. And I said, what skill am I doing? Is this because if I don't take a step, I will remain where I am, right? And that was a destiny provoking question. Sister T, what skill are you doing? What impact are you making in the world? Then it got me researching, right? And then I got to know about tech. Like I said, my siblings are software engineers, and I got to learn about design. My background, I did estate management, and as an estate surveyor, you take architectural courses. I have a lot of architect friends. I can read architectural drawings, and I always love to draw. So I decided that, okay, this is the path for me, right? So that's what landed me here today. The thought-provoking question from my sister. Yeah. So back to what we're doing now. So what stage are you at in your career? I want everyone to answer, but before you answer, I would like to explain everything here. So some people find themselves in design, like career as a career launcher. You just graduated fresh from school, and your first professional job is a UX UI designer or a product designer, right? As a career switcher, I'm a career switcher, like I said. As a career switcher, maybe you're currently a banker, you're currently working at a hospital, or you're working at a restaurant, and you want to switch from one career to design. That's a career switcher. If you're a career climber, you have been in the industry for years, and maybe now you're thinking of upgrading and specializing in something. Like instead of being a generalist, yeah, you want to specialize in a specific part of design. So drop in the chat box. I would like to know how many career switchers we have. I think we should have more of career switchers, and how many career climbers we have. So you can answer in the comment section. I'd like to see everybody's comments. Can you hear me? Career
Yes, we
switcher.
can. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
awesome. So Roslyn said she's a
Yes, you
career
can.
switcher. Nkechi said she's a career switcher. Uh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. So we have more of career switchers here. So what do you think UI UX design is? Career launcher. Oh, someone is a career launcher. Welcome, career launcher. Um, UX basically stands for user experience. And it's not just limited. User experience is not just limited to just mobile apps and websites alone. You go to a restaurant, right? And every restaurant has its ambience, the way they welcome you, the way their chairs are, the way their colors are, right? The way they present their food and their menu, that's an experience. When you buy a MacBook or a new laptop, the experience of opening up, unsealing the box, right, seeing your laptop, your charger, everything, that's an experience as well, right? So user experience goes beyond mobile apps and websites. And then UI stands for user interface. When we're talking about user interface, we're talking about fonts, we're talking about colors, we're talking about everything that you see physically, those things that make what you're holding or seeing attractive, right? You understand? Like this mug I'm holding right here, the UI of it is the color is white, and then I'm seeing blue colors, the stripes here are the UI, and the UX of it is the functionality that I'm able to drink water or drink coffee from the cup. You understand? So design is basically how something looks and works, how something functions. Yeah, let's talk about a microwave, for instance. The way the color of the microwave is the UI, the way the it functions, the button you will press to start warming your food, or the button you press to stop it, those are the UX of things. You understand? So as a UI UX designer, we're focused on how human beings interact with products. It can be any product, like I said. We're not just limiting it to mobile apps and websites, any product. It can be how is this user interacting with this car, right? How is this user interacting with the door? We've heard of Norman doors, right? Those doors that are confusing. You don't know whether to push or to pull them. So in that case, we are confused, and the UX of it is not so good. So that's what basically UI UX design is about, right? Moving forward, there are some myths about UX UI design that I would like us to clarify. What are myths? Myths are basically widely accepted beliefs, right? Widely accepted beliefs, or mindsets that people have held for so long, but it's not actually true. For instance, people think that as a UX designer, as a UX UI designer, we only care about UI. We only care, when I talk about UI, like we only care about making things pretty, and that's not true. We don't just care about making things pretty. We actually also care about the functionality of what we're working on. We care about if this user is enjoying what the product they are using, right? um you need to also know that people believe that you must learn how to draw. You must have gone to a school, or you must have graduated from an Ivy League school, or you must have graduated from an art school to become a UI UX designer. That's not true. In fact, as you interview and as you go deeper into the journey, nobody will ask you the school you went to. They just care about if you are able to get the work done, if you are competent, right? And people believe that as a designer, to get into UI UX design, you must learn how to code. And it's not true. You mustn't learn how to code. You don't have to. Learning how to code is good, is very beautiful, because you understand the programmers more when you're collaborating with them. But you don't need to learn how to code. You must not, it's not a requirement. You mustn't know how to code to become a designer, but it's a huge plus. If you know how to code, well done, you're a unicorn, right? And then people also think that, oh, as a designer, I only care about the users. That's not true. As a designer, yes, we do care largely about the users. We care about the users, their pain points. We care about what they are experiencing. But beyond caring about the users, we also care. You are being employed into a company to make profit for the company, right? So you also care about your stakeholders. You care about the business goals. This product I'm working on, this app I'm designing, is it going to make profit for the business? Are we actually meeting the company, the product goals? Are we meeting the company goals? So there should be a balance. Yes, you're thinking about the users, but you also have to prioritize your company, right? So we're not just only thinking about the users. Now, there are some key factors about UX UI design, right? When you are working on a product, when you've been given a task, there are some things that should be behind there's a mindset you should have as a designer. First of all, what you are working on should be able to meet the needs of the users, right? What do I mean by that? For instance, like if we're talking about Uber today, if I'm coming on an Uber, the major aim of coming on Uber is to connect me to a driver. I shouldn't come on Uber and be distracted by maybe social media posts, or I should be seeing something different. There shouldn't be a distraction. It should meet the primary aim, which is to allow users to move from point A to B, right? Then it should be easy to use and learn. I did a research couple of weeks back, and I was interviewing some users, and they told me that um Apple Music was very hard for them to use at first. In fact, that particular user told me that she had to go on YouTube to research, okay, how do I use this app, right? But that when she was using Spotify, it was very easy for her. Like it came naturally. It was intuitive. You understand, right? She didn't have to research. She didn't have to ask anybody any question. When she came on Spotify, it was easy to use and learn. So when you are designing an app on a website, ask yourself: is this thing I'm designing, or this product I'm working on, is it easy for is it easy for our users to learn and understand? And you achieve that by testing it, right? And asking questions, not just you're not designing for yourself. Also, your design should give user control and freedom. A student, for let's take for instance, a student is going in for an exam, right? And they are actively using Netflix, and for the period they are focusing on their exams, on their major exams, they want to like turn off their subscription from Netflix. Now, when the student goes on Netflix, they should be able to unsubscribe and stop the Netflix streaming for that period of time. If the student comes on Netflix, right, and they can't see any button where they can unsubscribe or stop their subscription, and they are not using Netflix, and Netflix is debiting their accounts, that is a bad user experience because they don't have control and freedom, right? It's like, yeah, it's like you registered for maybe blank list, like where you can read books, and you want to stop the subscription for that month for a certain period. You should be able to, as a user, you should be able to unsubscribe from certain services. That's why if you come to some apps, it's mandatory when you're designing apps, and you're about to launch, and you support submit your app to App Store. There's a requirement for you to always add a place where users can delete their account or subscribe from it. That's giving the user a bit of power and freedom and control. Now, delighting the user. When users use your app, they should enjoy it, right? It should make their life easier. They should be happy. I remember the first time I was using Clovo app, right? And the first time, the way the app welcomed me. Clovo app is a food delivery app here in Nigeria, right? And the way the app welcomed me, I don't know, when I stopped using Jumia app and started using Clovo, I was like, now wow, just that I use this app, see the celebration. You understand? So your users should be happy when they are coming to your app. They should enjoy the actions, the steps they are taking when they are using your app. Very important. Now you may ask yourself, why UX design? Why is this profession really important, right? Based on research, design companies that are design focused make 32% more revenue on average than companies who don't care about design. This is very true today. I mean, the big techs of today, the Apples, the Google, you see how much they invest in their design teams. Why? Because they believe that considering your users and investing in design will bring more money for them. And based on research, is true, right? Designing a stellar user experience is key to ensuring customer satisfaction, right, and building brand loyalty. When we research, right, because like I said, UX UI UX design is not just about making things pretty. We actually research our users' pain points, and by researching our pain points, we're meeting their needs. And when they are happy, they bring in more. When they are satisfied and happy, they bring in more money for the company, right? And then Investopedia reports that 90% of startups, part of why they fail within their first year is based on lack of funding, lack of niche, and lack of research. And this is where our profession comes in. We research, we help businesses research. If a client comes to me and asks, "Oh, I want to work on this," I will test it and find out if this idea or this business idea, if it's viable, if it's visible, if it's actually meeting a problem, right? So that's what we do. And here, good UX enables users to go about their daily lives as effortlessly as possible. If users come to your app, the main goal of our profession is to make the lives of people easier, right? I like I said, I remember also researching some days back, and I remember a user telling me that, oh, I asked her, oh, why don't you use your Jumia app? She told me that no shades to Jumia or anything. She told me that, oh, she found out that anytime she comes on Jumia, she always has to call customer service before she can get anything done. And she said to her it's frustrating, and to her it's a bad user experience. This is just a layman talking from that aspect, right? So our app shouldn't frustrate our users. It should make it easier. They should be able to book an appointment. They should be able to buy things on your app without having to even call customer service. That way, you've made their life easier. Now, um, simple steps to breaking into UI UX design, right? So this is the cocoa, right? I'll be taking you through some steps that I have taken and my mentors have taken, and even my co-workers, my peers have taken to really get into design. Number one, before breaking into design, you want to ask yourself, you have to come to yourself and ask yourself, is this career path actually right for me, right? You don't want to spend so much time, because if you are coming into design, you are going to spend time, you're going to spend money, you are going to invest a lot into this. I mean, data, time, your sweat, tears, everything is going into this. So you have to ask yourself, is this the career path I want to take? Right. And I left some links there. You can take a short course to ask yourself if that's what you really want. If you are someone that can't stay still in a place and really focus, if you are someone that does, I know most people don't, most people don't like meetings, but if you can't stay in a place, you prefer site work, you prefer going out to work and everything, then I don't think UX UI design is a good career path for you. Also, you can watch videos on YouTube, and you can also talk to different career professionals about their a day in their life, to ask them what is about. Like, a day in my life as a designer is different from a day in the life of a software engineer, or a day in the life of a data analyst, or my life as a designer is different from the life of a project manager, for instance. So you should ask people that have gone ahead and ask them, what's your day like, and then ask yourself, is this what I really want to be doing, right? That's step one. For step two, take an introductory course. I really love what Jupiter Academy is doing. um they are empowering people to switch into the career, tech career, right? So in taking this course, you should learn the principles of design, right? That's You should focus. There's a mistake I made when I started my career journey, and that was just focusing on my UI and leaving my UX path. There are some people that they are very good in UX and they are very bad in UI, right? There should be a balance. As you are investing in your UI skills, as you are sharpening your UI skills, also make the effort to sharpen your UX skills, right? How do you do this? You can read articles. I remember when I wanted to really get good at UI, I made sure that if you check my Instagram, I'm only following UI design so that my eyes can adjust and my design eyes can be developed, right? And I you can read books. YouTube is my best friend. If I'm confused about some things, I just go on YouTube and follow some design creators, right? And then you should have a design process, right? You should have a UX design process. You should know your empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, right? So it's very important that you take an introductory course. When I started out, I remember I started out with the UX Coursera course. Really helps me with my UX at that point. That's Grow with Google, right? It really helps me to understand what the whole UX world was about. So it's very important that you take a course when you've decided that this is the path I want to take. Some people are self-taught. Some people go through structured curriculum learning, like what we're doing at Jupiter. Number three, a major part of your learning curve will be learning tools, right? So it's very important that you invest in understanding these tools, right? You can't be a designer and not know how to use simple Google Docs, for example, or Figma, right? You should know how to use those tools. And now we have AI. right? ChatGPT that can help you with your research, right? So it's important that you invest time and effort into learning these tools. There are lots of free resources online. Take out time. I remember, I right now, I even remember the first video I watched to learn Figma, right? It took just investing hours, making sure that every day counts, and actually investing time to learning these tools, right, is very important. It's essential that you're able to communicate your designs to the team, and you're able to use the tools they use, right? Like for when I'm collaborating with my developers and I want to hand off my designs, if we don't have time to meet up, I use Loom. And for in our company, we use Slack to communicate. So you should start exposing yourself to these tools little by little to grow your experience. Soft skills, like we popularly hear, soft skills are very important. Why are they important? You can have the technical skills, you can know your craft very well, but if you don't have the soft skills, how will you maintain your job? Like they say, hard skills give you the job and soft skills keep the job for you. Now, as a designer, the key soft skill you need to have is empathy. What is empathy? It's like basically putting yourself in the shoes of your users. And beyond having empathy for your users, you should also have empathy for your stakeholders, the people you are working with, to make you understand what they are going through and understand their own perspective of things, and to help you to make better products, right? Communication is very key. This is something I'm actively still working on. You always, as a designer, you always communicate. You always have to communicate your design decisions. Oh, why did I use this button, this button? Why did I make this design decision? You always have to tell people and tell your stakeholders why you made that decision, right? And communicating also has to do with communicating on time, right? Is very important. If you know that you can't meet up with a deadline, tell your stakeholders before time that, oh, I can't meet up with this deadline because I'm facing these blockers. Very important. Feedback and collaborative skills. When I started out in design, I usually get really offended when someone gives me a feedback on my design. I took it very personal, like my design was me. But as you are starting your career, I want you to know that your design is not you, and you should be open to feedback. That's how you will grow. I remember when I was learning how to design websites, and I kept submitting. I remember I did a particular website like 5 times, and I kept showing my mentor. He told me it's not right, it's not right, it's not right. Change the design. This is horrible. And I remember crying, right? But I told myself that if I want to grow, I have to come out of that. I have to come out of my comfort zone and open myself up to the feedback, right? So learn to separate feedback from your own personal self. Collaborative skills, you're not just in a design career, you are not working in silos. You work with a whole design team, you work with other team members, you work with product managers, you get to work with developers, you work with marketing team, a lot of you work with other departments. So you should learn how to collaborate. When you are making a decision that will affect a particular department, tell them. Very important. And then active listening, that's how to communicate better. When you are listening, listen to draw value, listen to what your users are saying and what they are not saying. Listen to what your stakeholders are saying and what they are not saying. Interviewing, you will always interview. And you know the tech industry, our interview is really, really, really rigorous. So you should learn how to conquer interview. I For interviewing, I would suggest that you research common interview questions. You can get a Notion document or a Google Docs, your own a personal document for yourself, and rehearse, practice with friends, your co-workers, practice with friends and families how to answer those questions effectively. um Time management, you should manage your time well. And stakeholder management, you should be able to manage the expectations of your stakeholders. Like I said, when you make a decision, tell them why you made the decision, back it up with data. You're not just making decisions from your emotions, you're actually backing it up with data and research, right? So learn how to manage the expectations of all your stakeholders is very key. Yeah. Step 4, start working on projects, right? Like I said, you need to sharpen both your UI skills and your UX skills. Uh, a great um a great tool that helped me with my UX skill was reading a lot of case studies. I have a place in my Notion where I'm constantly reading people's case study. I'm looking at their approach. How did they solve this problem, right? How did they come up with this solution? If you read case studies, read articles, listen to podcasts, it will help you sharpen your UX skills. And for UI, that one I used daily. There was something that was running then. I don't know if it's still active now. Daily UI challenge 100 is like it runs for like 3 months, right? So what I was doing then is that I will see a design, I will try to copy it. Then I will send it to a friend that has gone ahead of me and ask them. Then they will show me that, oh, align this, change this, never use this color, never those days, never use purple background for your app, or this color, use white. So when you are designing, send it to people that are better than you, right? Humble yourself and send to people that are better than you. Let them check your work. That way you just see that you've gotten better and you've overcome that stage, right? Also, you can build a personal project for our career switchers in the house. Let's say maybe you worked at a restaurant, or you worked at a you're currently working at a clinic or at a bank, and you notice a problem. You noticed a problem that maybe the customers in that business are facing daily. You can write up a case study on it, right? Using UX processes and design thinking principles to craft out a case study from that. And who knows, someone can take up that project and even fund it, and it become something huge, right? So you can work on personal projects. If you notice anything, any app you use, or any device you are using, or any product you are using that is not really meeting the needs of users, you can revisit it and make it better, improve it. And then when I started out, because I really get this question a lot, how do I get I'm just starting out in design, how do I get live projects for my portfolio? Honestly, you can seek out mentors that are working on live projects and ask to be part of those projects. Most times they won't pay you, but that's the price you have to pay to just get live projects on your portfolio, right? But make sure you set boundaries so some people don't take advantage of you. But you should be willing to volunteer to get projects at the beginning. Yeah. So your portfolio, lots of questions about portfolio, right? And what is a portfolio? When you hear of portfolio, is a collection of a professional's work, right? I remember I used to dread working on my portfolio because it's a lot of work. Excuse me. But one thing that helped me is having like joining a community and seeing other designers working on their portfolio will encourage you to work on your portfolio as well. And for your portfolio, you should show your best work, right? You've worked on so many projects, don't show your worst work. Let your work shine. Make sure you show your best work, and you can limit your case studies. What we really care about are your case studies, so make sure you limit your case studies between maybe 3 to 4 case studies. And I like to advise designers to show range in their case studies, right? Especially if you are just starting out. At least show one case study on mobile app, show one on dashboard. You can show one on what they call this Apple Watch, those kind of wristwatches, or even if you see some designers working on ATM machines, to show that, oh, you have exposure to a wide range of products. Don't just limit your case studies or your portfolio to just maybe mobile apps alone, or just maybe websites alone. At this stage, it's very important that you show range, right? And when you're working on your portfolio, don't just I see a lot of portfolios and case studies on Behance. They are just the same, like ideas, prototype, wireframe. If you look at companies you desire to work at in the future, whether it's Google or Apple, go to this designer's portfolio and look at their case studies. How did they solve these problems? How did they solve that design problem, right? Look at how they tell their story. Their storytelling behind their case study. They don't just follow a process, right? You are enjoying it as you are reading it, and don't make your case study so text heavy. There should be a balance between, we want to see what the product you actually worked on, the finished product. We want to see your learnings. What did you learn from it? We want to see data. How many how were your users? What challenges did you face, right? So I would advise that you look at this portfolio issue. If you sometimes you have to even go through a lot of designers portfolios that have gone ahead, that are working in companies you want to work at, to really give you that design mind on how to work on your storytelling. So I would advise you do that. Research portfolios of designers that have gone ahead of you and show your best work. And then for hosting, people use PDF. When you're starting out, I know it's not easy to just to have your own online portfolio, but it's very important that you show your case study. You can show your portfolio on a PDF doc. Some people use Canva. Some people that are very good with Webflow, they use Webflow to host a portfolio site, and Framer, right? But just do you. I remember I had a Notion portfolio, and then I wasn't getting so many jobs. I remember showing my portfolio to one of my mentors, and she told me that she doesn't think it's right for a designer to have a Notion portfolio because is the design industry is very competitive. So it's better you host a portfolio website, right? So, but whatever works for you, right? But I would say have a standard. For me, I would advise that I have a standard website portfolio. But I know that starting out is not easy, but you can have a PDF portfolio as well. Yeah. Join a community, very important. Step 5, it's very, 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 very important that you join a community. Why design communities? When I was starting out, the design community that was a huge blessing to me was road trippers. And road trippers, then our goal was making sure that everyone in that community had a job, right, at least within a year. And that really helped because we're all working on our portfolios together. We were all working on our UI skills. Someone will bring a challenge for UI. You're posting your work. Senior designers are checking through what you have there. So it's very important that you join a community of like-minded people, right? And not even that, in those communities they post conferences. Make sure you attend conferences. I know someone that got a job in Uber by attending an Uber conference, right? By just attending an Uber conference, and she got an interview. So make sure you attend conferences. If you are very good at a particular topic, try to speak as well, right? Offer volunteer at conferences as well. Try to network and meet people, right? Like I said, design, you don't work in silos. You actually have to meet people and put yourself out there. So it's very important that you join a community, right? So some communities that I have there's Design Body on Discord, Roadtrip on Discord, and they're on WhatsApp. There are Figma communities and UX growth. Join a community. It will really help you. Mentorship. This is one of my huge secrets in this design industry. Mentorship. If you are meant to take maybe 6 years or 5 years to get that huge job, that very powerful international job that we're all praying for, right? And you are doing it on your own, having a mentor can reduce it to 2 years. If you were meant to get a job, maybe that dream job, if you were meant to get it within 5 years, having a mentor will reduce the journey for you. Why? Because they've gone ahead of you, right? The mistakes that you would have made, they have gone through that, and they will tell you what and what not to do. I remember going for a mentorship session with one of my mentors, and I asked her that, what's the key to this? You're always getting very good international job. What is the secret? And one thing she told me that I wouldn't have even thought of was that, oh, when you're looking for companies, follow companies on LinkedIn to get those jobs. Follow companies that you want to work for. Notice what they post, right? And also check the people that are working in that company. Do you see people that look like you, that look like you, that maybe are from Africa or are black? If you notice that they're open to if they are very diverse in their employment, then apply there. But if you notice that they don't employ people from a particular region, don't waste your time. I wouldn't have even thought of that if I didn't have mentorship, right? So many things, right? Like I remember when I was starting out, I don't use design components before. Then my mentor would tell me that make sure you use your design components. Don't waste your time creating UI components from the scratch again, right? So mentorship is very important. These mentors, though, I call my mentors the board of directors for my career. That's what I call them, right? They'll provide guidance for you on how to navigate the job market, like I just told you, right? And they'll provide quality advice on your portfolio, right? Like I said, you treat your portfolio as a product. Who are the end users for this your portfolio, right? So for our portfolio as designers, our end users are companies, hiring managers, um, potential co-workers. Those are like designers. So you have to think, this portfolio I'm working on, I hope is meeting my users which are the hiring managers and all these people. I hope he's meeting their needs, right? I hope when people come to your portfolio within 6 seconds, they should be able to tell that you're a good designer. Very important. Those are the things you learn from mentors. They'll tell you how to write your case studies, how to introduce storytelling. So some places where you can get mentors are ADP lists. I'm always on ADP lists. I try to make sure I connect to my mentors at least twice in twice maybe twice in 3 months, right? I make sure that I connect to my mentors, and it's a great way to expose yourself and know people. And if they even get to hear of job opportunities, they will even tell you first. They'll tell their mentees first than people outside. So get a mentor. Very important. There's design.org, there's vit.com. And in looking for mentorship, don't just come on someone's very good, right? The right way to ask for mentorship. Um, look at this first. Look at the first note. Hi Gabriel, I recently viewed your portfolio, and the case study on blah 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 really got my attention. It's unique and actually solves a problem. I think you're an amazing designer. I would really love to learn more from you, sir. I hope you accept my connection request. When I sent this to my mentor, immediately this person even sent me his number. Until today, if I have any problem, we have a relationship. As against sending this to someone and saying, hello, hello Ibuku, good morning, can you be my mentor? That's a waste of opportunity, right? Don't send this kind of message to anybody. Like if you're asking, if you are looking for a mentor, look for a common ground. Maybe you just went for a conference and you really enjoyed what the speaker spoke about, right? And you learned one or two things. Use that to connect. Or you saw someone's portfolio and you really learned one or two things. Use that to connect with the person. You understand? Or you admire how the person designs a particular way, or use an international interaction designer. You admire how they do their amazing interactions. Connect through that. Don't just meet someone on LinkedIn and send a message, oh, be my mentor. They won't answer you. So learn how to ask for mentorship the right way. Like I said, there are some mentorship sites here: joinvid.com, adplist, design.org, and I forgot to add LinkedIn. You can connect with people on LinkedIn as well. Step 6, build a brand identity. Very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. In today's world, businesses businesses put themselves out there, right? They advertise the services and the goods they have on social media. You also are a designer and you have services to render. So why would you be hiding yourself? You can't just be working in isolation and be hiding yourself. If you just worked on a case study, post it on LinkedIn. Let people know that, oh, you just posted something on LinkedIn. If you just worked on if you just worked on an amazing project with some co-workers, post it out there, right? If you just wrote an article, post your article out there. Don't hide it. That way you're exposing yourself and you're building a community. People are getting to know you more, right? Have a strategy for posting. Establish an online presence for yourself, right? Even I remember one of the jobs I got was just from my posting on LinkedIn, and then the company reached out to me, right? So it's very important that you post your work regularly. Don't hide your talent. Sell yourself. Sell yourself. Yeah. In conclusion, I would like to say here that there are sometimes that you've done everything possibly right. You've done everything. Your portfolio is on point. You have been networking. You have been going for conferences. Everything, but it's not. It doesn't seem. You don't seem to break through. You're not. You're not. You don't feel like you're making a headway. At that point, I would like to advise here that you pray, right? I'm a Christian and I believe some people say that the universe. Fine, but me, I believe in prayers. And if you notice that you are trying your best and it's not things are not pulling through, I will advise that you seek prayers. Don't get into the design industry on your own. You understand? If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, stick to your faith and pray. You understand? So, yeah, and here are some of the resources. I'm going to leave it here so we can look at it. Resources for our portfolios, YouTube channels to follow, and volunteering sites. Yeah, that's the end of my talk. Any questions, please? Over to you, Lizzie.
All right. Thank you very much, Toyin. Wow, what an insightful session. Guys, let's keep the clapping emojis rolling. Thank you very much, Toyin. I mean, I enjoyed it and I took down a couple of things.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so before